Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we will be talking about Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Now it starts off with them running away from a war, and Kita's mother telling her that living our lives are more important than your toy, but she's only a little girl, so she tries to go back for it, but then the great goddesses that ruled their land, the magical crystal that ruled their land, takes their mother. No. The magical crystal that rules the land takes Kita's mother, and she cries out, "Mother, mother!" But then her dad takes him. But then her dad takes her in his arms and says, "Don't look, it'll just only make you sadder." Well, they speak in Atlantean, and this was a long time ago. We flash forward to Milo James Thatch. Now he wants to prove that Atlantis exists to his coworkers. So he practices, but he misses his meeting. So he goes right up to the boss and says, if you reject my proposal to find the lost city of Atlantis, I'm quitting." And then he goes home to find that there is a woman named Helga that works for this guy, Mr. that works for this guy called Mr. Woodmore, and not to judge, but she made it seem out like this guy, Mr. Wigmore, was so scary. But no, he wasn't scary. In fact, Milo's grandfather was best friends with him, and he actually found the Shepherd's Journal. So the Shepherd's Journal is this journal that Milo's grandfather gave to him after he passed, and said, give give this to my grandson. And actually it's a very, very sweet story. So so Miss so 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 Mr. Wigmore helps him get a boat in a ship that will help him travel to find Atlantis. So he got his stuff all packed and he is off. And then we meet the other 5 main characters: Mole, Sweet the doctor, Audrey the mechanic, Benny the one who has a lot of dynamite, and they are off to find treasure in Atlantis, the diamond. They are off to find the diamond. But keep an eye on them, because they are not as good as they seem. So anyway, they're traveling and they just keep being mean to Milo. I mean, they had to climb up this mountain this one time, and they didn't even help him up. He had the book. Remember, he had the book, and the book is the key to Atlantis. He had the book, so treat him with some respect. So, in halfway of the movie, they make it to this cave, Okay, I should tell you what happened. When the movie first started, they had a crash, so they lost some people. So now everybody's pulling double work. Be because because be, because they lost some people on the mission, and they lost some people on the mission, and they actually did do a candle floating out to the sea as um as respect to the people they lost. Anyway, they made it up the mountain. They start being nice to Milo, and they notice that he's reading the book a lot, but he's been reading it 100 times by now. But he realizes that a page is missing. But but all the other but 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 all the other explorers say, "Oh, don't worry about it." So he stops worrying about it. They set up camp, and everything is going fine until Milo sets the camp on fire with a bunch of fireflies, and then they gotta get locked up in a cave again. But then Um, but then they actually dig themselves out of the cave, and surprise, surprise, they are at Atlantis. Oh, and by the way, if you look real closely into the movie, the Atlantis that 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 uh um uh um the Atlanteans have been following them ev- ever since that cave burned down. And I don't know how they are following them all that time and they didn't see them. And I also want to know, how did that lady get into Milo's house to tell Milo about her boss, Mr. Wigmore? Leave that to me in the comments. How do you guys think she got into the house? Milo's house without a key. She said she said she came down the chimney, but I don't believe that. So anyway, back to the movie. They make it to Atlantis, and they go meet the king, but the king wants him. But the king wants all of them off his land, and they strike a deal to with the king to have one more night, and then they will go. But then they send Milo to talk to the princess, and Milo finds out about all this stuff, and he finds out about what happened to Kita's mother. And Kita actually gets Milo to fix this flying machine that they had many, many years ago in Atlantis. And they actually do find the treasure. Okay, you see, the treasure that they were looking for are the crystals. The crystals that they wear around their necks are the power sources. But Lorik, the leader, remember how I told you guys never to trust him in the beginning? Yeah, you should listen to me, because after Milo and Kita go swimming, they find out that they were after the crystal all along, and they kidnapped Kita and tried to kill her, but my girl is fighting them off. But they do take her hostage, and they take her to the king, and they say, tell your guards to drop their weapons, or we're gonna hurt your daughter. So he tells the guards to drop their weapons, and they go to the big giant crystal thing that was in the beginning. And the big giant crystal thing actually does get offended when you throw rocks in it because it is half alive. But it needs a person to survive. So while Milo and the main leader are arguing, Kita is actually drawn to the big crystal that you see in the beginning of the movie. And it has chosen her to be a part of it. Just like it chose Kita's mother all those years ago. And so, the king actually ends up passing away. And he ends up telling Milo to save Atlantis, save his daughter. And he actually tells Milo the truth that a long time ago, he actually tells Milo a long time ago he used to use the crystal for war, but when the crystal took his wife, that's when he figured out that the crystal was too dangerous. So that's why he hid Atlantis under the water, so nobody could get a hold of the crystal's powers. So that's why he kept the city hidden for all those years, because he never wanted the crystal to be used for war again. Well, they're not buried under the sea, but the city is buried it's buried under a rock. I'm not gonna say it's buried under the sea. It is buried under a rock, and Kita tries to ask her father if the people could stay, because maybe they could help bring the city back to life, because the city is poor, but the people are living, but the culture is dying. So Kita wants Milo to bring happiness and joy back and bring the city back to life. But the king just wants to keep his people safe. I forgot to tell you that part. Him and Kita actually do have a heart-to-heart. Okay, back to the movie. So, when the king passes, Lorik and all of them start to pack up Kita, because she's a part of the crystal, right? And then he punches Milo. And then everyone starts to go, but then everyone comes back except for the main guy, Rorik and Helga. They keep going, but all of them plus Sweet comes back, because they realized what they were doing was wrong, and hurting the king wasn't a part of the plan. Getting the crystal was the plan, but hurting the king wasn't. So they all band together to stop Rurik. And this is part of, okay, usually in parts of the movie I kind of see where the villain is coming from, but not in this instance, because Rurik actually gets rid of his partner Helga, but then Helga kicks him back in the face, and even though she gets thrown off of the blimp that they are standing on, she uses her gun to shoot the blimp down, and it causes a fire, and Rourke actually gets cut by Milo because they were in a fight, and he becomes the crystal, and then he ends up blowing up along with Helga. And Milo and 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 actually Milo and Sweet and everybody else who came back to help Milo, they actually saved the princess. Kita comes from out of the sky, and she is alright, and she saw her mother because she got her bracelet back that her mother gave to her. So she saw her mother and she got her bracelet back. And her and Milo hug and they hold hands. At the end, when they see when they actually see that they stopped the volcano and everything is back to normal. The city is safe, and I just have to give Milo a big hand because when Kita was in that cage and everybody was saying, Milo, we gotta go before the volcano erupts, and we gotta go before the volcano erupts, and we all could die if the volcano erupts. And then Milo says, no, I'm saving Kita. So he actually jumps on the cage where they have Kita, and he actually holds it until they get to safety. Well done, Milo. So Milo and Kita stay in Atlantis together. And everybody else goes back, and actually Mr. Wigler actually helps him come up with a story to say that Milo went down with the submarine, and Lorik and Helga are missing. But we both know the real truth. So Milo went down with the sub, and Lorik and Helga are missing. But I do have to give Helga credit where it's due. She did say in the beginning that there are people down here. This changes everything. But the general says this changes nothing. So, let me tell you what happened. They all got rich because they said because they saved Atlantis, and they said their goodbyes to Milo. And Milo actually gave a crystal to Mr. Wigmore, and I just think that is so sweet. And that is the end of the movie. Oh, and by the way, everybody got crystals at the end of the movie. Oh, and they all got gold and silver, so they're good to go. But Milo stayed in Atlantis with Kita. And that is the end of the movie. Bye, and see you guys in my next video.